It is a very special day for our school. Christina was born in Dublin. She had a troubled life in Ireland. She left Ireland to help less fortunate children in Vietnam after the war. She set up the Christina Noble Foundation in Saigon, where the number of state orphanages has grown across Vietnam. Christina has transformed the lives of 700,000 children and counting. The Christina Noble Children's Foundation is dedicated to serving vulnerable children in Vietnam and Mongolia who are in need of healthcare and educational opportunities. 164 projects have been established during the past 28 years, providing vital health services, educational opportunities, and community research programs to thousands of children and their families annually. We are sorry we could not facilitate a larger group, but we will make sure the speech is uploaded onto the school website and YouTube. We are proud to welcome Christina to our school, and I hope you were inspired by her heart-touching story. Ladies and gentlemen, Christina Noble.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll just say hello to the kids. Hello, little munchkins. I love the kids. I was born in Dublin in the 40s. I was born Christmas time, 1944. And by the time I was 10, I was an orphan. I lost my sisters and brothers, and my mother and my father. My mother died. My father was a chronic alcoholic and totally irresponsible. I looked after my brothers and sisters for as best I could at the very young age. And then we got sick, we got tuberculosis and malnutrition and all sorts of stuff. We were then taken away and sent to different institutions. At that time, the institutions, reform schools, industrial schools, were very tough, very hard. And we never saw each other in Ireland again for 53 years. Because each one was told different stories that we were dead, in fact. However, very much alive, as you can see, and all our brothers and sisters been together. And it was awkward. Can you imagine? But love is so powerful and it's stronger than everything. So we had this big, great love, and we're as strong as we ever were. With very little education, and certainly not a structured education, I had a dream. I think it was in 1977 or something like that. And the dream was that, well, in the dream I saw these big lights, huge, big orange and red colours, and I saw the sign, Vietnam. And I saw all these people and children running, just running from this horrible, horrible, all this stuff that was happening, which I now know to be bombing. And the horrible chemical called dioxin, which was Agent Orange. And in the dream, I would go to Vietnam and work with the children of that country. I didn't know where Vietnam was. I had to ask somebody, have you ever heard of Vietnam? And they said, yes, it's China. No, it's not China, but that's what they said. And they're killing each other out there. So when the time was right, I had to go, and I went to college. I went to college and studied and worked very hard. And I set up my own business. It's a commercial catering business for London and all the surrounding areas. And it became very successful. I worked hard, and it earned a very good reputation. I have 3 children. I was married, and it didn't work out because the man I was married to fell in love with somebody, and so it was slán lad. I know I'm laughing, but that's how it was. But it was sad. But I worked very hard. I had to wait till my children went to university. It was very important that they had the best education they could have, and they graduated, and I'm happy to say I've got 3 great children. One is a specialist in neuroscience, and she particularly looks after young people. That's where her love is, the youth. And she's a very highly qualified girl in more ways than one. And she's very loving and patient and beautiful human being. And she has 2 beautiful sons. One is going into law, and the other one into, I don't know what you call it, physics, is it physics? Physics and something else, I don't know. But I know they're 6'1" and 6'2", and they're fantastic human beings, very caring, great sense of humanity. I have another grandson, George, who's an actor, and he just played the part of James Dean, and he's studying to be a director, and he's very good at everything he does, but he's a wonderful humanitarian. And he has also worked out in Vietnam. And my other grandson, who's working in Mongolia, Thomas, again a wonderful human being and brilliant. And I thank God for letting me have this beautiful family. You know, when I was a kid, and I came out of these places, and before I went, I ran away from one of them, and I ended up sleeping in a hole in the park. I made the hole myself. It was down by the Cunningham Road, by the wall, and I was able to hide under all these bushes, but I was able to dig the hole, and in a way it became my den, like a little animal hides and hibernates. And I was very frightened, I was scared, and I'd wished that I had a mum and dad, and because I ran away, you see, I ran away from the first institution. But as the years went on, I ended up in another institution and got away from there. But I'd still know where to go when I came out, and so I ended up back in the hole in the park. And I went to England eventually, where I worked in a factory. I didn't particularly like working in the factory, I have to be honest with you, because I felt deep inside there was something greater inside of me. I couldn't explain it, but I knew there was something bigger I had to do. And I went to night school, classes or something. And I was very afraid, you know. I thought that the tutor, I didn't call her a tutor, I can't remember, I called her a teacher. Same thing, but got this feeling she knew that I had no proper home. She knew that I was an orphan and that I was poor, and she wouldn't like me, and she might not want me in her classroom. Nevertheless, I worked very hard. I did my best. And God blessed me with, I love language. I wasn't very good with mathematics. Still not very good with mathematics. I love geography, history, but most of all I love people. I really love people. No matter what anyone did to me, no matter how they battered me or beat me, I couldn't help it. I still loved people. I knew starvation. I ate from trees. And I found a way to survive. But I don't think any child should have to go through that experience. I had a dream in 1977. I can't remember, it was 70 or 77. And it was that dream that would take me to Vietnam. Now you might think that only a fool would go to Vietnam, who knows nothing about the country, knows nothing about anything. But you see, there's something very strong inside. Something so strong. I have to tell you that I love the Holy Family. I love Jesus, big time, and the Holy Family. And without going into anything further, I'm going to say I did go to Vietnam alone. And I remember feeling quite shocked. I was so scared and shocked at the amount of people on the streets of Ho Chi Minh, which was known as Saigon. And the babies and children and people with no legs and arms and kids with no legs and kids bulging faces and half a face and horrific, horrific stuff from the war. Little babies on septic breasts, people walking around with drips on them, no shoes, just kind of stripy looking pajamas, you know. No shops open except for two. One was a bread shop and you had to queue for hours to get anything. And the other one was just second-hand bits of whatever. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of people all sleeping on the streets and the roads. Was no electric light, nothing on the streets, dark. Soldiers were on the corners with the rifles, just standing in. And I got a little room in this place. It's strange, small little place with a lot of cockroaches and, I mean big ones, not little ones like you see. And rats and stuff like that. And I was very scared, you know. And I didn't know what to do. And I began to feel foolish. Why would I go to Vietnam? What did I know? I knew nothing. What could I do? Who am I? Nothing, I'm nobody. But I had a dream. And there was something so strong, it just wouldn't leave me. And so I came outside of that little place and I went for a walk. And I saw this guy with a guitar. He had this guitar guarding it, you know. I asked him if he could play it, and he said yes. And I asked him, could he just follow me? And I sang and everybody knows it across the world. And I sing it all over the world. And he followed me. And the song was, my lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling, Michael, they are taking you away. For your star Trevelyan's gone, so the young might see the morn. And now the prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Oh baby, let the free birds fly. Her love was on the wings. Lord, we dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. So I finish the rest of it later, okay? And well, that's the song. And then I just went back, and the next morning I got up and I looked out again, and I was looking at hell. I mean, truthfully, I was looking at hell. And I asked our Lord, you know, Jesus, can you tell me what to do? I just don't know what to do. And I sang, one day at a time, sweet Jesus, that's all I'm asking from you. Lord, show me the way to do everything I have to do. Yesterday's gone, sweet Jesus, tomorrow may never be mine. Show me the way, help me today, sweet Jesus of mine. I want to tell you, I went out, and from that day, that's when I really started. I picked the child up with raw leprosy, small little one, little teacher. I picked her up and I took my t-shirt and I wrapped it around her. Today, the Christina Noble Children's Foundation has helped over 1 million children between Vietnam and Mongolia. 1 million plus. I'm not talking about a bowl of protein. I'm talking about from the womb all the way to graduate from university. Some of them go on to do their PhDs abroad, and they become their own productive people. They know who they are. They know where they're going, and no more can anybody give them a form to put their X on, where they almost crucify themselves because they cannot read what they're putting their X on. Nobody can traffic, abuse, and use them anymore. No child is born from the womb to the street to be kicked and sold like a little monkey dancing around, to be made to perform the most disgraceful acts. Nah, that's over. That's over. They become great surgeons, great engineers. They become teachers, social workers, education officers, builders, you name it. Lawyers. They really know who they are. We have worked so hard to change, not the culture, which I'll never touch, the value, the worth of the human being. I'm real proud of those kids because they've had to work harder than anybody I know. Apart from myself, of course, you know. I had to work hard. Oh my God. I tell you. But we also work with the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland. Some of the great professors, Professor Edmund and Professor Corbally, all the great professors. Ladies and gentlemen, they're beautiful people. They're proper gentlemen and ladies. And one of the top heart surgeons in the world, I got him to do a pirouette on top of the roof, look, like this. And that was an achievement because he's always so busy. There's a new, well, it was a long time it's opened, neonatal clinic. Heart clinic for open heart surgery, cancer and pediatrics, which there's a lot of, teaching doctors how to perform open heart surgery, bringing them to Ireland, taking them back, and then teaching them again to take them to that standard, men and women. And we still work with the Royal College since 2000 and, what was it, 3 or something. We have Irish volunteers, African volunteers, American volunteers. We have teachers and students who come out from the international schools in Hong Kong, Australia, and Ireland. They love the kids. They get on great with them. And our children learn so much from them, and they learn so much from our young people. We have a music school, art school. They have soccer, sports of all kinds. In Mongolia, we have one of our children in 2020 in the Olympic Games, and in what's the other one?
24.
In 2024, we have 2 more going into the Olympic Games. It's 2 in 20, is it? And then 1
2 in 24 and 1 in
Okay. So, we have a very good international tennis teacher that we started from scratch with. The only way is up. That's the children's strategy. People say to me, what's your strategy? What am I supposed to say? So the only strategy I have is the only way is up. Children, for you and me now. And if you ask them, they'll tell you the same, don't they? They go, the only way is up. There's no other choice. It's down or up. Easy or up. When our T-shirt came out, he cried. They sang him Athenry, by the way. It's like the national anthem out there. And they couldn't believe that all these Vietnamese children, can you imagine listening to all the vast amounts of voices singing Athenry in Ho Chi Minh City. And it was out in the big bugles into the city as well. And he just, he couldn't believe it. They all know Athenry. It's like the national anthem for them. And they, Bertie Ahern, that's who it was, wasn't it? Bertie Ahern. And we have lots of Irish people come, and we have, who are they? The business people and everything, don't they? And I built a beautiful medical and social centre that has earned its respect across the world. Yeah, it's the first thing I built, really. And schools everywhere. Every place, every hole, every corner. Down in the jungles, down in the Mekong, all around the Delta area, up on top of very high mountains for the ethnic people. Wherever they don't have schools, they get built, because if a child has no education, they have nothing. They've no future. They're going nowhere. And that is very important for them. Good health, good education, and a safe house. What, love? You see? Did you hear the voice? The only way is up. Maybe he was singing that down there, was he? Did you hear that? That was interesting. And because I sound a bit tired, you'll have to forgive me. I had a terrible fall. A while ago, and I smashed all my nose and smashed my head, and I'm still at the end of concussion, okay? So you forgive me, okay, for being so slow and trying to remember some things. And can I just tell you also that I love Keats. You know Keats, John Keats? He said, no experience ever becomes real until it is experienced. Even a proverb is no proverb to you until your life has illustrated it. So, you can read and read and read, but if you've experienced it, you really know it inside out. And I think that was my education to help me to help the children and the families. And I always loved, what was his name? Do you remember Padraig Cullum? Did you ever hear about him? Did you ever hear Joan? The great poet from Connemara? You remember? And he said, oh, to have a little house, to own the hearth and stool and all, the heaped up sods upon the fire, the pile of turf against the wall, to have a dresser filled with shining delf, speckled and white and blue and brown. Oh, but I am weary of mist and dark and roads that have never a house or bush, and tired I am of bog and road, and the crying winds and the lonesome hush. And I am praying to God on high, and I pray him night and day for a little house, a house of my own, out of the winds and the rains way. That's what we're talking about. Just a little house. Go to school and have some food and safety. And every child will make it if they're loved. Because if there's no love, there is nothing either. It has to be pure and clean, unconditional. Look at them cheeky little things. Look at them. That have a grey crack. Can you see them? Can you see them? Ah, you can see them over there. Look at them. Yeah. See this fella here now? This lad here. Did you see him? He's now doing advanced engineering in Tokyo. He's graduated from his university. He's got his master's. And now he's doing, yes, what do you think of that? You would know, like my Henry is that size, he's no shoes. He used to say to me, go away, you no good. And they've all made it, kid. They've all made it, you know. There's one child we lost, Lan. Did you see the little girl in the cot? Oh, she died, Lan, yeah. She lived a lot, they said she'd lived for 6 weeks. She lived for 17 years. Yeah, but she couldn't move out of her cot, you know. And the reason she survived was love. Do you understand me? Just love. Love is beautiful. Without love, there's nothing, I'm telling you. But when you love, really love, don't ever pretend to love because it's horrible. No. Look at them. Yeah. You see them singing. They're probably singing Athenry there for all I know. Yeah. Where'd you get them from? I didn't know you had them. Huh? They love bicycles, you know. So what do you think? I mean, you can ask me questions. I'll have to sit down though. Is that okay with you? Is that okay with you guys? All right. All right then. Oh, God help me and protect me. Jeez, I'll tell you what. I do need you to... Will you pray for us? A few prayers just to say... Tell that doctor to give her an injection in the spine and she'll be all right, will you? Because I want to go back to work. I just want to go back to work. I got to go to Nepal and everything, you know. Pray for me, will you? I really mean it, you know. Will you really? You will, won't you? I know you will. She'll pray for me as well. You will as well, won't you? He will over there. I can tell. Yeah. So what do you think? Now ask me anything you like. I'm easygoing, you know. But my work is
Christina.
perfect. Oh.
I just want to say, how did you keep yourself so inspired and motivated after everything you went through in your younger life? Like how you could have given up at any time, you know, being so kind of thrown back almost from the hardship that you went through. How did you keep going?
Because I believed that there was something better. There had to be something better out there. I love our Lord as well, you know. I kept praying to him all the time and to Our Lady, the Holy Family. I'd say, will you help me, you know? I don't understand. I didn't understand anything. I just was lost, you know. But I wouldn't give up. I've had cancer. I've had everything you can imagine. I wouldn't give up. I just refuse. Just don't give up. And I'll tell you something else. There's a lot of street pharmacists out there, okay? Do you know what I mean by the street pharmacists? You know, the drug sellers and peddlers. Because I've worked for a lot of people who were taken down that road. And you don't want to be one of them, I'm telling you. We work in the trafficking area. Don't be one of them, please. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. You won't catch it, it's just the remains of one, you know. Well, do you know what I was going to say to you, Bobby? Where's that little girl gone? What's your name? Rebecca. People can be very nice, you know, you get these chancers, you know, and they say all the right things and they're very charismatic. It can be a boy, a girl, man or woman, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be any particular gender, you know. And they can feed you with everything you want to hear. And then there'll be moments you think, well, they're being too nice. I'm not sure I believe them. But they know how to get around that as well. And they will abuse and use you in every way they can. First thing is to get you hooked. That's their job. That's their job. Did you hear the little boy there speaking? No, the little boy, his family are blind. And he was on the streets trying to get money to feed his mother and his father and his other sister. Little boy. Do you know the little boy? See, I think that went a bit too fast for them to grasp, you know. But anyway, he spoke about being on the streets was dangerous because they want to take your organs, steal you to take your organs and your eyes to be sold at the hospitals. He's talking about different countries like China, and not just China, but any, I don't want to go into all that stuff, but it's not all of China either. There are villains everywhere. Everywhere. But that's the only country he knows, you see. And that would be true because we work in that field as well. We have rescued people who have been trafficked and sold and brokered so many times they didn't know who they were anymore. But we found a way together. And they're great people today. They've always been great people. But they've come back. And they do great work at making sure it doesn't happen to others. So please, don't be taken in. You won't be, will you? Will you remember what I said? Will you? Please. You're beautiful children. You're beautiful. You're all beautiful. You really are. Look at you. Don't let them bring you down, will you? Please don't let them bring you down. I beg of you. Our world needs you for greater and better things. If ever our world needed special good people, it needs it now. Will you promise me? You let nobody bring you down, will you? No. 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 And if you're ever sad, lonely or confused or mixed up, think of me, okay? And if I can make it, anybody can, because I tell you what, it was hell on earth for me, but I wouldn't give up. Life is too precious. Too precious. Okay? And maybe one day your teachers will talk about a little trip to Vietnam and see for yourselves. There's nothing like seeing for yourselves, you know. You think so? Maybe you talk to Mr. Moore, or Cathal Moore, is it? The boss man, isn't he? Yeah, is he here, Cathal? No. Will you talk to him? Okay. Would you like that? Imagine going out to Vietnam, huh? You'd love it, you would. You'd love it. Yeah. You'd have a great time as well. It's not all misery and all stuff. It's great fun. You know, you won't get the girls or the boys back. I can just see us with all the kids. You won't go back, but you have to, you know, because you have to come back to work. We've had some children out from some schools, which I'm not going to tell you what schools, who weren't quite getting on, didn't, you know, in class or whatever. And we took them out, and well, one or two of them were getting expelled. But put it this way, they are now fully fledged social workers. One is working in New York, and the other one is working with us, so I'll say no more, okay? Anything you want me to do, or say, or talk about? Come here, look at him over there, give me that little baba, won't you give him a hug? Look at that little face. What's your name? Aaron, I'm Christina, are you okay?
Yeah.
Shall I tell you a joke? You probably won't get it, you know. If I told you a joke, I'm not sure if you get it, because you're not in Dublin, you know. If I tell you the joke and you don't laugh, I'm going to feel silly, you know. Huh? Huh? Come here. This is not the joke, but this doctor went to the... No, this fella, he went to the doctor's. Silly little joke, really. I'll tell it anyway. So he went to the doctor, and he said to the doctor, he said, I'm really scared. Doctor, I'm so scared. The doctor said, why? He said, because I think I'm a spoon. Yeah, thought he was a spoon. And the doctor said, sit there and don't stir. Did you like that? And another fella, he went to the doctor, right? And he said, doctor, I can't see. I cannot see. Can't see. And the doctor said to him, come out with me. He took him out the back door. And he said, look up at the sky and tell me what you see. And he said, I see the sky and I see the sun. So the doctor said, go home. How far do you want to see? Do you like that? I try to be funny, but I'm not. Now, I hope you get this. If you get it, it's going to be good. If you don't, it's not. Now, look at that. Now, wait till I tell you, look. Are you listening? Okay. This guy is from Dublin, okay? Have you ever heard of the Liberties in Dublin? It's like the East End of London, you know? It's a tough place to live, but they're good people, okay? So, this guy, he's walking down O'Connell Street, and he has a penguin under his arm. He's walking. And he's got one of them walks that says, I'm a tough guy, you know. Like, don't look at me, you know. And there's a guard on the bridge, and he says, well, where are you taking that penguin? He said, I'm taking it to the zoo, guard. So the guard, very suspiciously looking at him, wondering, he said, you make sure you do, because I'm going to be keeping my eyes on you. So your man took the penguin to the zoo. Yeah, he took him to the zoo. And the following day, the guy is going over the bridge again. You know, don't mess with me, like, you know. He's got the penguin under his arm. So the guard sees him again and says, I thought I told you to take that penguin to the zoo. And he said, I did, officer. I took him to the zoo. And now I'm taking him to the pictures. To get it? To get it? Was his friend. Oh, go on. Anyway, thank you very much. But if you want to ask any questions, come here, I'd say, I want to say to this little darling down here. What's your name? Oh, you told me, didn't you? Oh, come here. Love you, Baba. Okay? Okay? Is she... Did you read Bridge Across My Sorrows?
No.
Okay, I'm going to send it down to you. I'm going to send her Bridge Across My Sorrows, okay? Have you got one with you? Have you? I'm going to give you one. I've got one with me. Can I sign it for her? Of course I can. I don't know how that goes off. Told you I was no good at mathematics. I'm joking, I'll test you. Yeah. Oh, dear. Here you go. For Rebecca. I even have got no glasses on. That was a matter, does it?
Just while Christine's doing that, can I just ask the people who are involved to just come outside for a second? Abby and
One day at a time. Maybe I tell you. You said also you don't remember any of the old songs. Come here, I'd love to sing properly. Yeah, thank you, my love. I'll give that to the lady. Do you know that song? They try to make me go to rehab. They say, yo. No, I sang that in the Bronx. You know the Bronx? I sang that in the Bronx for all the lads. Yeah. All the youngsters like them going off, man, you tried to me.
We would like to thank Christina for coming to us today and talking to us about her amazing story by presenting her with flowers and a cheque that is being donated to the Christina Noble Foundation.
Oh my God, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, they're beautiful. Oh, what am I going to do with them? Huh? They're beautiful, yeah. Thank each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. Look at this, look at this.
Let's see your face. You want to face like that?
Did you know that? We did it with the National Rugby team, yeah. Brian O'Driscoll, everyone. Yeah. Hello. I'm talking to myself.
now, just to say thanks to you, Christina. The students are going to sing, and you can sing along. And
Oh, bless them. I'm very glad I came to the music.
For your strong valiant boy, so they are.
by a lonely prison wall. I heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they cut me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By a lonely harbour wall, she watched the last star fall. As a prison ship sailed against the sea sky, shall she wait and hope and pray for her love and botany bay? It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once they watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wing, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful voice. Don't steal my song, okay? You're beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. I'll tell you what I'll try and do. I'll try and get, when I'm well enough to go back to work, I'll get the children of Vietnam to sing it to you, shall I? And send it on to you. Okay? Wouldn't that be something? That would be something. Yeah? I'd ask them to sing Athenry for you, and they'll send it to you. They have the little clothes on, I might put the little Vietnamese outfits on, okay? Something you can keep forever. Even when you're married and all, you can still have it on there and say, oh, I remember that time, okay? Now, I don't know if the teachers are going to work out with Mr. Moore, Cahill Moore, about doing some deal for you to go to see the Christina Noble, spend a bit of time there, okay? See the children, work with the children. Now, your teachers have to decide that, okay? And then we have to work out, well, Jean will explain that to you better than me, because I take his off together, right? But you have to work out, don't you, with the teacher, how it all works and all that stuff. See, I'm this person thinks I can take everybody everywhere. I would, I'd put you all on the plane and just go. Yeah, but then your mother and father will be worried about you and everything. Which is always come back safe, I tell you. You'd love it, you really love it. You can play football with the lads, and go swimming and everything. But I'm just thinking you can walk as well. There's loads of kids for us to walk, but they'll take you up. They play that thing. What's that thing they do like that? Not tennis. Is it tennis? Badminton. Oh, badminton, yeah. And they do this stuff, you know. That, what do you call the thing? See them look. I found them. That's why they're like that. I had nowhere to put them. So I had to take them, just put them on the sofa until I actually was sleeping just a little bit. That's Professor probably, isn't it? I was sleeping just a little bit.